welcome to Movies That Move Me. My name is Elijah Winfrey. I'm the host of the program, and I am hoping that you will agree with me that this is a movie that moved you like it moved me. Whole point of this show is to kind of, connect with you a little bit and tell you the movies that made me want to be a filmmaker. This one certainly was one of them. It is my favorite sci-fi film of all time. My favorite sci-fi film of all time. My favorite sci-fi franchise of all time, because the next two episodes are going to be about the two movies that have come out so far in this series. So this movie from 1982 came out July 9th of 1982. It's called Tron. Yeah, remember that movie Tron? So for me, what I loved as a kid, I loved the colors. I know that's going to seem like really, really stupid and really simple, but I'm a simple dude sometimes. I really enjoyed the colors of this movie and how the colors looked on the screen. If you've seen the film, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen the film, basically imagine neon lights. Like everybody's wearing a gray costume and they've got neon, neon stripes, if you will, all over their costume. And obviously this is a story of, some folks who get trapped inside of a computer program and then they got to take on the computer program. And there's a lot to it. And I know that this movie, when it first came out, from everything I've read and heard, it kind of had a lukewarm response, but it's like grown a cult following over the years. But for me, watching it as a kid, I loved this movie. Like I wanted to actually go and play, frisbee like they do in this. Now they don't call it frisbee. Okay. They don't call it frisbee. It's something else. I can't remember it right now, but basically it's frisbee. I wanted to go play those games. I thought that was so cool as a kid watching these. So for me, like I said, Tron holds a special place in my heart. I thought it was an interesting concept. And as I've grown into adulthood and I've seen all these things about virtual reality games and things like that, it kind of makes you wonder, if anybody would ever actually get lost inside of a video game or get lost inside of a computer program, and what would that be like? And the fact that they had the wherewithal to write that type of story back in 1982, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And if you look at it and you really think about it, now granted, 82's movie is about a computer program, not necessarily a video game. But if you look at that and then you look at virtual reality games, it's kind of interesting, right? Kind of interesting. Like there's some connections there that could be made. But like I said, I loved the Tron movie. It is my favorite sci-fi franchise just because I find it to be so interesting and a lot of fun. And this episode's not going to be very long because that's pretty much all I got to say about it. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. And if you haven't seen the movie, I would encourage you to go watch it. Now, with that being said, the CGI is not the greatest, okay? And I get that. But for 1982, it was revolutionary, because this is around that same time that you had Star Wars coming out and everything. And I just got finished talking about the Star Wars movies in my last episode. I talked about the prequels and I talked about the original films for those who didn't get a chance to watch those. And one of the things I said is that I view George Lucas as the godfather of CGI. That's how I view him, and I feel like a lot of filmmakers went to his people, used his services to make their CGI better. Tron, I don't believe did that. Now, don't quote me on that, but I believe they had to kind of figure it out for themselves. They had to use whatever was available at the time to do what they did, which is why the film looks the way it does. But if you can just get past that, you're going to have a fun time. You're going to have a really fun time. And again, what inspired me was the storyline, of somebody getting trapped inside of a computer program. And then, of course, they expanded upon that in their sequel, which we'll talk about next on the next episode of Movies That Move Me. But like I said, I really love this movie. I want to say it was the first time I ever saw Jeff Bridges. And, of course, I think the world of Jeff Bridges. I think he's a great performer. And I know a buddy of mine, R.W. Martin, he actually met a lot of people from this Tron movie. And I probably should have had him on this episode to think about it, but I didn't think about that before I started recording. But yeah, he's got some really cool stories to tell of actually meeting some of the folks behind it. And he loves this movie just as much as I do. But like I said, 1982, Tron. Really, really great film. Going to talk about its sequel in the next episode, so not really any spoiler there or any build up there. Tron Legacy's coming next. That's right. On Movies That Move Me, my friends. Hey, until we talk again, be good to yourself, be good to others in that order. I'll see you soon.